Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert, January 18th, 2020. And we're at the Garden of Eden. Yeah, I did some work in here today because spring is in the air. Yeah, well, anyway, a couple of things I did here was I cleaned out this is my self-watering gutter garden, if you remember that from the old videos. So I cleaned this out. I harvested the carrots out of that one, and I replanted, as you can see on the handle down there, carrots again in there. And then in this one I put some radish, and in this one I put radish because one bucket wasn't enough for me last year. So over here I put igloo lettuce, and in this one I got giant Caesar lettuce for Caesar salads. Caesar? Oh no, I'm having a Caesar. Oh no, that's a seizure, right? Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, the trees are really doing well. They're got little buds all over them, so they're going to be starting to show some real life there. The apple tree, of course, is still a little early for that. I gave it a little tug. It seems to be solid in the ground. And you can see I cleaned up all of the other stuff in the garden here. Got things all sorted out. And in this tray here, I put in iceberg lettuce from that marker over to this side. And on this side, I got sugarloaf lettuce from this end to the marker. So got my lettuces planted in there. I was cleaning up in here, and I noticed I got a bunch of potatoes all sprouted here. So I'll be getting some potatoes out of there pretty soon. That onion is humongous. I'm going to have to cut that out of there pretty soon and see how it tastes. So I'm going to be cleaning off the rest of the broccoli off of this one plant here and taking it up. That one there is still producing some flowers on it, so I can still use some of that. You see the ones down here, one there, and a bunch up here. So yeah, I can still get out of that. And those pea plants over there, let me zoom in on them, have got pea pods on them. So I'll get those pea pods off of there and get the seeds out of them so that I can replant those. And yeah, I kind of cleaned this whole area up because I think what I'm going to do is on my next trip into town, I'm going to haul my trailer and pick up at least 10 bags of garden soil to fill this area in. But before I do that, because I have fruit trees in here, like the peach here, the apple, the tangerine, and the other pear over there, the Bosque pear. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take a piece of 2x8 and I'm going to build a box around the base of the tree here, 18 by 18 around each tree. And then on those, after those are boxed in, then I'm going to fill the rest of this garden up, bring it up to full height. Of course, I can't do anything to where my celery and my cabbage is growing until that is harvested, but I can fill everything else in and then just have a couple of bags ready, so when I pull out those winter plants and get ready to put my spring planting in, I can fill that up with the extra bags that I have. So that's my plan here. And I did fertilize all these trees because they look like they could use a little bit of zooming, especially that one. That one took a beating on its leaves from the cold and the wind, and I gotta worry about this one making it. It's got a good stalk on it, a good root stock, so it should make it as soon as the weather gets better. And then I pruned all these pepper plants here. These are jalapeno peppers, and I've had luck with those coming back the second year, especially when they have a good solid trunk like that. And that trunk is bigger than my finger at the base here. So yeah, a pretty hefty plant there. See if I get any sprouts off of them. If not, I've already started new jalapeno plants inside, so I'll be replacing that with the jalapenos. So this is going to end up going into the chickens who are out free ranging right now. All right, so I'm running a little long here in the garden, and I want to get back to the cabin so I can get my list of other tools. I promised I would get some more of the critical tools for homesteading, and then, like I said, this is for stuff that I've used for myself and found very, very advantageous to have. So we're going to go back there and look at my list, and we'll get on to it. Excuse me for walking so slow. These flip-flops don't move too quick. Yeah, it's a nice day today, even though the clouds came in after the afternoon here. And yeah, I still got clothes in the dryer. That's the second load. I got the first load done earlier today. All right. So, TV on because I'm using up excess electricity. Let me mute that down. All right. So, on my list here, the next thing I wanted to talk about was for tools that you definitely have to put into on your list. They're a cordless screw gun and a cordless drill, a drill motor, and you want the bit sets for both. And make sure you have plenty of Phillips head tips for your screw gun, because if you shoot a lot of screws, you're going to end up breaking them, and it's really a pain to be stuck without them. So I buy them by the 50 piece containers and always have plenty on hand. All right, and then same thing with drill bits. Get yourself at least 2 sets of drill bits for drilling metal, and at least 1 set of spade bits or fly bits, whichever you want to call them, for drilling wood. Those come in real handy for making holes and things when you have to. So that's on the list. Okay, next would be a 4.5-inch grinder with both metal and masonry blades. And I bought mine from Harbor Freight, of course. They have them on sale every now and then for like $10 for a 4.5-inch grinder. I think they've got 3 different levels now, and I've got the originals that I've had them for years and years. They still work just fine. So yeah, you can buy the cheaper one, but if you're going to look into the future, then go in the mid-range so that you're sure you got something that's decent. All right, next is going to be concrete tools and a concrete mixer. I bought a electric concrete mixer at Harbor Freight Tools for about $225, and it's got little wheels on it to move it around and stuff. And that thing has been really, really handy. Although I do use my invention, which is a rapid rod mixer. Those are no longer marketed due to circumstances beyond our control. Yeah, I still have some of those for myself, and they are great for very quick. I can mix 60-pound bag of concrete in under 60 seconds, ready to pour in a 5-gallon pail. So you can imagine if I can do 60 pounds in under 60 seconds, you can imagine how fast I can pour a slab for my solar panels or something like that. So yeah, that's very handy, is having something to mix concrete with. All right, next is going to be a pick, a bar, a sledgehammer, and all types of hammers. Ball peen hammers, claw hammers, 2-pound hammers, It's a 16-pound sledgehammer. You want all kinds of hammers. And then a pickaxe. A pickaxe has an axe on one side and a flat pick on the other side. And the reason for that is you're going to be digging sometimes and you're going to come across branches and roots and stuff that are underground. And that pickaxe is designed just for cutting those. So that's a handy tool to have. And next is, of course, some workhorses, a table, and all your ladders. You're going to need different types of ladders. So make sure you have that stuff ready. I brought a 4-foot, a 6-foot, and then a 12-foot. No, I'm sorry. It's a 20-foot extension ladder, and then I have a couple of other ladders, a 10-foot ladder, and all that stuff in the container that really come in handy. You're always going to be using ladders, so make sure you get those ladders on your list. All right, that covered the first top 10 that I was talking about. But with the like I said, there's so many things that you have to have when you're out here, and I found them all came in handy. Let's go into some of the other items here really quick. A square. Now, you can make your own square if you know the 3-4-5 method. Okay, so 3-4-5 method is for any right angle like this. If it goes 3, whether it's inches or feet, 4 inches or feet, and then from that point to that point on a diagonal will be 5 inches or feet. And you can double those. If you need a little bit bigger square than a 3-inch by 4-inch, then you can go 6 by 8. And then, of course, the distance across the hypotenuse, or the angle across, would be 10. So you doubled each number. And you can do that again. You can double those numbers again, and it still works out. But it's a 3-4-5 method. So remember that. You can make your own square, but it's nice to have your own framing square and a little combination square that you can use for making 45-degree marks, things like that. Levels. You want to start with a line level. You've got to have a 2-foot level and a 6-foot level. Those are very important also, because you're going to have to level things. And just one of them isn't going to do the job of the other two. So you got to have a line level. That's a little level that snaps on a string line. And that's great for when you're setting your footings and your foundation for your buildings that you're going to build. Then you're going to need a 2-foot level. That's nice for leveling windowsills, things like that. And then a 6-foot level, and you're going to use that when you're setting doors or going leveling things across long distances. And you could take that 6-foot level and tape it to a 2x4 by 8 foot or 10 foot long, and then you got a 10-foot level. So those are 3 levels that you should have. A staple gun with staples, very handy. You're going to need to staple things all the time, so have that. A welder. Now, if you don't know how to weld, it's not going to do you any good. But you should have arc and oxyacetylene, and you can get both of those at Harbor Freight Tools for a fairly decent price. Get a wire feed if you're going to go with the arc welder, because it's a lot easier and a lot more efficient than using a stick welder. But if you're going to be welding heavy-duty construction equipment and things like that, if you have that on your site, then you're going to want to get a heavy-duty DC arc welder, because you're going to need the high amperage just to weld that. Wire feeders are good for smaller steel, like up to a 1/4 inch. You're not going to be able to weld anything that's a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch thick with it. But yeah, welders are very important. Clamps of all types, C-clamps, spring clamps, bar clamps. you need clamps of all kinds. Another really handy tool I've used dozens of times since I've been out here, a hydraulic floor jack. You can use that for lifting things. You can use that for holding things up or straightening things out. Or you can turn it sideways and you can spread two things apart. It's a really handy to have a good hydraulic floor jack. Don't get anything less than a 10-ton because you could actually use that for moving big boulders too if you had to. All right, toe strap and chains, heavy chains. Those come in handy. I use the toe strap to wrap around all the bushes out here, and I put that on my trailer hitch on my van, and I pull those bushes right out by the roots. And it sure beats cutting them off and having them grow back, and you have to do it again. Just pull them right out by the roots, and you can drag them over to one place and stack them up and then burn them as you go. All right. Another thing a lot of people would never even think about, but they say, well, I've got a pickup truck. Yeah, pickup truck's handy, but get yourself a trailer, a 4x8 trailer minimum. You're going to have to go pick up things at the big box stores and things like that. A trailer is really handy for that kind of stuff. 4x8 sheets of plywood and drywall, big stacks of 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x8s, extra length. So yeah, you want to get yourself a trailer. Again, Harbor Freight has a fairly good 4x8 trailer. I've had mine now for 25 years, I'd say, and still using it all the time. Matter of fact, it's going to be going into town to pick up all of that soil I'm going to need for my garden. So make sure you have a trailer. I don't care if you have a pickup truck, you're going to need a trailer. And it also helps when you're moving out to your homestead. You can put a lot more stuff on a trailer than you can in the bed of a pickup truck. All right. Other than that, some other things that are just obvious, like ratcheting, tie-down straps, things like that, ropes, all of that kind of stuff you should throw into your box. You're going to need that stuff. And again, I can't emphasize enough putting together a small battery bank in your vehicle with some solar panels. Harbor Freight solar panels work fine. The 100 watt system that they have will do just fine. Comes with a controller and some light bulbs and all of that stuff. That will do just fine to get you started. Because you're going to have to run power tools to do your building. And generators are noisy, and they also require oil changes and fuel all the time. So get yourself a setup with some solar electricity, and that's the way to go. All right, everybody. Any questions? Don't forget to leave them down in the comment section. I try to get back to everybody in a timely fashion, and I am getting those comments now, so I do get back to people. I had to go through over 100 of them the other day that were all buried in my folder, but I got all of that taken care of. So this is G-Bear reminding you to give me a thumbs up down there. Please like my videos. Those thumbs up really count. They help with monetization. And don't forget to share. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And for the new people that are out there, don't forget, subscriptions are free. You don't have to pay for that. You're not going to get spammed. When you click the little notification icon after you subscribe, all that does is give you an email to let you know that G-Bear has uploaded another video. Then that way you won't miss anything. This is G-Bear signing off.